The COVID-19 disease, which is caused by coronaviruses, has now spread worldwide to more than 162 countries. The virus has infected more than 181,000 people and has claimed more than 7,000 and is expected to continue spreading to remaining countries. The situation has prompted the World Health Organization to declare COVID-19 as a pandemic.
There are now more than 118,000 cases in 114 countries, and 4,291 people have lost their lives. Thousands more are fighting for their lives in hospitals. In the days and weeks ahead, we expect to see the number of cases, the number of deaths, and the number of affected countries climb even higher. We have therefore made the assessment that COVID-19 can be characterized as a pandemic. And we have never before seen a pandemic that can be controlled at the same time. And we have called every day for countries to take urgent and aggressive action.
In Africa, COVID-19 cases have been recorded in more than 20 countries, including South Africa, Democratic Republic of Congo, Senegal, Algeria, Benin, Cameroon, Egypt, Morocco, Nigeria, Togo, and Tunisia, among others. This means that Zambia is also at a high risk of possibly recording COVID-19 cases as the nation continues to receive passengers from different countries, including countries where the pandemic has its presence. For us to appreciate the magnitude of danger that COVID-19 poses to people, let me take you to China so that you see the measures that the Chinese government has put in place to fight the pandemic by disinfecting cities using all means necessary, including tankers and people spraying on the ground. They are also using drones to spray tall buildings, while people on the ground are also committed to spraying even benches where people sit in order to eradicate the virus. They are also using other types of technologies to spray surroundings in a bid to disinfect their cities. They are using robots mounted on public roads to test road users even from a distance, and that the robots can test up to 10 people at a time. The robots are even able to detect people's voices and follow where they are so as to test them. If the robots find any person with high temperature, they would sound an alarm, at the same time call health personnel on standby to get the suspect to health facilities for further scrutiny and treatment if they are found to be positive. In hospitals that are overwhelmed with patients, they have continued to use robots to deliver drugs to patients. Other robots are also being used to deliver food to patients to minimize the contact between patients and medical staff. Other measures include mounting of testers at gates to test people just as they enter their work premises and shops. When people enter in workplaces, they are given some gear to put on before they can get into a room to be disinfected and later on join others to work. The authorities are also using toll gates to screen and test motorists. Adult motorists and passengers are supposed to disembark from their vehicles to be tested, while minors are tested while in their vehicles. No vehicle is allowed to pass without testing people in it, regardless of who is driving it. Workers at toll gates continue to spray their working place to prevent possible contractions. The country also had to withdraw money from circulation after realizing that it was a serious source of transmission. The money was taken to warehouses where it was being disinfected using chemicals and also putting it in warmers that would be set between 60 and 80 degrees Celsius to kill the viruses. Soldiers are also working day and night, deploying their equipment in all borders to prevent people from entering the country as they fight the pandemic of coronavirus. All these desperate measures are enough to prove that coronavirus is not a problem to underrate. In Italy also, coronavirus has hit them bad, with hospitals overwhelmed, forcing authorities to mount tents for patients. You can see that there are unoccupied beds in some tents that have been prepared for would-be patients of COVID-19. Soldiers are also working to transport patients using all means, but are making sure that there is no contact with patients. How is Zambia ready to prevent the pandemic that has not yet registered its presence in the country? I took to the central business district in Lusaka to interact with traders of second-hand clothes, where there is a serious exchange of clothes by buyers, which is a potential mode of transmission, and this is what they know about COVID-19.
Nenewo Joseph Mpa.
Okay. Sasa zanchito kwanje bana.
Magori sabi. Ndine wa business.
Mwambira ati kuri matenda ya coronavirus?
Nimvera.
So muziba ati ya matenda ya mabwera bwanje.
Nshayishi bapo Philippines. Tete nchibofoni ngati chingirira. Pan tete nchibefya kufare Philipo vingi. Chaika takuri chimwamwana. So tete nchibofoni ngati chingirira. Emukwa.
Manje ndira fika stinga zibe. So imo ndio munga tuze kwa mukatita so simunga dwale, mukatita so muzadwale. Seti zako ngave muzatuza munga mabomba. Kote tikatita so tizadwala coronavirus ngatita so tizadwala.
Despite the sensitization that is going on, people are busy choosing and exchanging clothes without minding about the disease. Other traders have covered themselves in the unwashed second-hand clothes without knowing and minding who used them before they came to Zambia. Mrs. Mulenga is worried on how Salaula traders will be protected and also mentioned that washing hands for traders is not practical.
Ise monga mwamine tigurisira, stizo mwamza tandizira, stizo mwamine muzati tandizira wa government kuti isatifikire. Chifukwa business yatu nyoka mbaka soche mwamine mwati onera kuchoka kuseni paka mazuro. Manje bantu peza payo kusegura beo bantu bari 100. Adheni opezi ka upunda. Pari bachimfine bachifuba. Manje mzati tandiza bwanje tistingareke kugurisa nde mwati pezira kangono kunzisira abana ku maskolo. Kusamba kumanja ni njira imozo chingizira but sebasalaula kusamba kumanja tikasegura beo timankalo 3 hours ungo kuona ba customer so sunga pinda muke fast tuone pari manzi tio pati vivizanana.
Without the technology that countries like China is using, and with the current habits of shaking hands all the time without taking precautions to prevent themselves, it is a big worry as to how our people will survive should coronavirus step its deadly legs in Zambia. I'm Justin Kawisha in Lusaka.